This is a Fox News alert. There have been 2 terror attacks in the country of Spain. When you went to bed last night, you knew that a terrorist behind the wheel of a white Fiat van killed 13 people and injured 100 in Barcelona. And then overnight, 70 miles from Barcelona, a second terror attack. 5 terrorists wearing fake suicide vests were driving an Audi A3. They tried to drive into as many pedestrians as they could. They encountered a police officer. They returned fire. The terrorists are dead. 7 people hurt there, including the police. And this also is tied to the fact that apparently part of this cell, which police now believe could be 12 people, part of the cell, it sounds like, blew themselves up on Wednesday. A house 120 miles from Barcelona exploded. It was filled with explosive canisters. It looked like a bomb factory. Clearly, what was going on in Barcelona and in Cambrils yesterday was much larger than just a one-off.
Meantime, U.S. authorities on high alert back here at home after the latest ISIS Inspire magazine mentioned threats to trains and subways along the East Coast.
Yeah, we now go live to Rob Schmidt in New York, Times Square, a major tourist destination, as we know, in the United States, where authorities are now on high alert after what's happened in Spain. Rob, what are you hearing this morning?
Yeah, well, you know, guys, I think a lot of people now at this point, after we've seen so many attacks, I mean, when you walk through Times Square, you're just a little bit more nervous because this is such a target. And let's be honest, this is New York City, this is Times Square. This is an area that's always packed with police officers. They're always heavily armed here, but they've even made additional enforcements to that. So you're going to see more of that here, more heavily armed. You have assault rifles on the officers as they walk around. And Times Square, other parts of the city as well, Columbus Circle, going to see beefed up security and stuff like that. Let's go to a soundbite from the NYPD talking about how they're going to keep Americans safe in light of what we've just seen in Barcelona.
Deployed some of our critical response command vehicles to some of the Spanish locations, the mission and the consulate, and a tourism office. Out of an abundance of caution, with no threat information whatsoever, but we thought it was important and reassuring to those people, as well as all of New Yorkers and everybody that looks at them. This is the center of the universe, if you will, in Times Square, and it's well protected.
Okay, so if you look behind me, one of the big things that they've been doing in recent years and what they're going to continue to do are these steel bollards that you see behind me. These can stop pretty much anything. They are solid steel. They are dug into the ground. They are very secure, and that is what stops a vehicle from plowing through here and plowing through all the people that you see in Times Square every day. This is such a target, especially during the daytime hours or tourists walking around. The NYPD investing in even more of these steel bollards is what they're called. Also, concrete barriers. It was these steel bollards that actually stopped that car in an attack earlier this year. It was not terror-related, but it was a crazy guy driving a car right up through Times Square, hit a number of people, injured a number of people, killed one young woman. So that's the big investment. That's how they're trying to keep this area safe, because as we're seeing now, we're moving to a point where there's no longer weapons. There's not many ways that you can secure a crazy person with a car. People can get their hands on cars every day. So this is what it's come to, and this is how they're going to try and keep people safe in areas that are as busy as Manhattan.
Rob Schmidt. Rob, thank you very much. Obviously, that is going to be the scene here in New York today. Sure. All eyes on Times Square and throughout the city, but specifically Times Square.